All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. Welcome, everybody who's already joined us. I appreciate y'all for joining me on the first day of the calendar year. And, a lot of people call it New Year's, but some people are aware that the New Year's starts, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the spring. So, while we are, people still celebrate it and go out and everything like that. Um, there's a scripture that tells about, the real beginning of the year. But shout out to everybody who joined us, man, who has been watching this channel. I just wanted to come on real quick. And let me share this real quick to social media. I just wanted to come on real quick and just, talk about this year, the past year, a lot of the things that has happened, a lot of the things that we have covered, and, some of the things that we intend to do this coming up calendar year. There's been a lot of stories that has taken the nation by storm on this channel. A lot of them have garnered national attention. And so I just want to review some of those and check out y'all. I know everybody is, putting together New Year's resolutions this year. So, if you want to share some of your resolutions, I know sometimes that we have to keep those things silent too, because we always want to make sure that we are just not saying them but doing them. But there's a lot of situations that happened this year. One of the most, I guess, polarizing situation is that of Rodney Hinton Jr. And if you don't know who Rodney Hinton Jr. is, he is my brother out of Cincinnati. And it was about in, I think, early May of this year. He was charged. He was charged with killing this sheriff out there in Cincinnati after his son was murdered by a Cincinnati or Hamilton County police detective. So the brother that they allege, went down after he looked at the videotapes from the police office. He left the station allegedly, and he went somewhere, and then he went back to the station, came back out, and then he reportedly ran over this deputy. I think the deputy's name was Larry somebody, and they eventually charged them with murder. But the only way that we heard about that situation, or the reasoning behind what he did, was because he did what he did. And so it came out that the reason why, or allegedly why, if he did it on purpose, was that the police had killed his son the day before, young Ryan Hinton. And he was allegedly supposed to be in a stolen car. And he, with some other young men, were asleep in the car. And the police came up, everybody got out and ran. And this officer shot the young man in the back, claiming that he waved the gun at him. Now, if you guys been watching this channel, that is one of the things that they always say, that somebody's waving a gun, pointing a gun, and that's how they eventually justified it. It took them about a month or two to say that, yeah, we are not charging the officer, and they are literally really trying to put the father to death. Right now, he is facing a capital murder charge. But his lawyer, Mr. Clyde Bennett, up there, he's fighting diligently, and others trying to prove that he was mentally incapacitated, or as his lawyer put it, he was out of his mind. During that time. So that is something that we are still, going to be keeping an eye on it. There's still some court cases that he's yet to face. And actually, what I'm going to do right now is I want to play one of these videos right here that tells a little bit about the case. No, I probably won't play any videos about it, because y'all can go back and look on this channel and see all of the videos relating to Rodney Hinton Jr. But that's one of the cases, and we actually went to Cincinnati. Met with some of the family, met with Rodney Hinton's brother. We met with Ryan Hinton's mother, and some more people in the community. I actually went up to the courthouse to do some investigating, pulled up some documents, and really tried to see what they got going on. But as recently we heard about that they are actually beating the brother up in jail. We saw a video about that. So, and he's being held at a jail that is in Clearmont, Ohio, which is the next city. And a lot of people told me about the racism of that city. But that's one story that came out of Cincinnati that we were very interested in. But also the other story that kind of came out of Cincinnati was the Cincinnati Brawl, which the brothers from Cincinnati called me up about it. And, there were some white people doing the Cincinnati Jazz or the Cincinnati Music Fest that came out and was harassing the people. And, the one white guy hit the brother, and, the brother and everybody started putting hands and feet on the group of white people. And then, when the police came, they charged about 6 or 7 black people. I think there were 5 men and about 2 young ladies. They charged them with felonious charges, even though that, people are saying that, the white people out there were the antagonizers of the incident. And so that's a story that we still are, following. They're charging these people with like inciting a riot and, all types of charges where they can get, serious time, all because of a fight where alleged drunken white people started the fight. So Cincinnati has been on the radar a lot this year. Also, and I appreciate everybody too. I appreciate everybody who, has been watching this channel, supporting the channel, sending the emails, sending the texts, sending the stories, sending the cash apps too. I appreciate that. Just watching and sharing the videos, and, appreciate everybody. I don't show this much. It's not on the wall enough, but this is a plaque that they gave me. If y'all see, it says for passing 100,000 subscribers. So this, plaque was, basically because of all of you guys who watch this channel and share the videos and, help spread the information that I put on this page. So I really appreciate y'all for helping this channel pass that threshold. And I think that was back in October or November. So I'm truly grateful for all of you who have been watching this channel. I think I've been going strong for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where I really, been covering, these little known stories and putting out content on a day-to-day basis. And, all of you guys who have been watching from the beginning, all of you guys who are, new, I kind of really thank y'all for, just the support. And one of the major stories that I first covered was the story of Javion McGee, which was the 21-year-old truck driver in he was found in Henderson, North Carolina, but he was from Aurora, Illinois. He was found under very suspicious circumstances. They initially ruled his death unalivement, but we all know, from the information that we gathered, we covered that story for about, it was like 4 months straight. Every day we were pulling up information, eyewitness testimony, witnesses, people from around the town, and they were just giving us so much information that proved that this young brother was possibly murdered in that town, and it was made to look like he did it himself. So earlier this year, they did finally come out with the ruling that he unalived himself, and so the family and everybody was involved was hoping that they would, the people would do the right thing. Somebody would give to our runaway afro. That's funny. The people would really give the family justice, but that doesn't happen a lot of times. And in these little small towns, that just that's what we get. We don't get a justice, we get a lot of cover up, and what the people in power say oftentimes goes. So rest in peace to Javion McGee. Shout out to his mother Tiara and his father Corey and all of his loved ones who had to endure that. If you watch the outro, you'll see me up there with them and this family up there in Aurora or Chicago at his funeral, which was at the end of 2024. And so we've been dealing or not dealing, just involved in some community efforts. Shout out once again to the Building Bridges Coalition. If you don't know who they are, they're the group out of Mississippi that we went down there in Mississippi, and we went to a couple of the locations where some injustice have been done. DeMontario Griffin, if you don't know who that is, he was the FedEx driver who was ambushed by the father and son team, Gage, down there in Brookhaven, Mississippi, where he delivered a package. He was trying to deliver a package. He pulled into the wrong driveway, and they chased him down. And he was shot at. Bullets went through like packages in the seat. Fortunately, he survived, but they never charged that father and son team for trying to assassinate the young brother. So we went down there. We went up to the courthouse. We knocked on the DA's door, and we made our presence felt, even though they still haven't charged anybody, if I'm not mistaken. But I think you'll see the interview I have on the channel with the brother DeMontario, as well as my brother Lewis. I forget his first name, and forgive me if you're watching. And his mother, we went down to the Attorney General's office in Jackson, Mississippi, where the Mississippi, the Jackson police, the Capitol Police, shot the young brother as he was, sitting in the car after a traffic stop, and they tried to say he did this, that, and the other, and they hadn't charged those officers for 2 years. But about a week after, we went up there with the Building Bridges Coalition. They messed around and, charged those officers. And so, I always shout out my brother Markel Bridges. We also went to the Rankin County Jail. If you don't know what the Rankin County Jail, that is when they had the Goon Squad, where they were known to abuse inmates and prisoners all throughout all throughout the jail, and also on the streets. There was two brothers, Michael, and I forgot that brother's name. I think his name was Eddie, who were tortured by that group of police officers down there. And they did convict those officers earlier this year. But now those officers are trying to get a new trial and things like that. And there was another recent incident right there in Rankin County where they're abusing a mentally ill man. So it doesn't seem like they have learned their lesson yet. There's a lot of things that, that needs to be addressed. And that's why I shot my brother out, because there's a lot of people, who come together. And, people always ask me what to do and what can we do. Well, first thing we do is have to come together in numbers and, not just, just walk around marching, holding the signs. We have to, when we go somewhere, we have to go with the demand, not just, to be out screaming and yelling. My opinion, I don't know. I talked to a brother last night and he was like, yeah, man, we need to get together a march. We need to march and, stop the violence. And, we need to march against this. And I'm like, with all due respect, what, we marching, but that's all we do. People get they're gonna march, they're gonna hold up some signs, they're gonna yell and scream, then they're gonna go home and forget about it until the next incident happens. So, I'm more of a like you said, power respects power, order respects order and power. Yeah. So if we're not organized, if we don't have a demand, like if we gonna march up to the White House and say we're not leaving until y'all change some things, we walk up to the gates and pull somebody out of there, and then I'm with that. But just marching and yelling and they was doing that in the 60s, and we're still fighting the same problems that we were fighting then. So with all, I think they were having the No Kings marches. That's when the brother, one of the elder brothers I respect, he said, yeah, man, you should tell people to do that and do this. I'm like, man, I can't see how to, what is marching around the corner, all around the country going to help? Like what they say, the Buddhist monks right now are walking and marching for peace, right? But right in my hometown, while the Buddhist monks are marching, 7 people done got shot last week in a town of 50,000 people. We having the funeral for a 13-year-old girl who was shot by some juveniles this Saturday. So while they are marching, or while they are walking for peace in a symbolic gesture, death is still all around. So unless we are coming out to the communities and taking the guns from away from the people and, doing other things, then, marching is, irrelevant to me. Like those Buddhist peace marches, it looks good. It sounds good. Yeah, they're marching for peace. but, like there's no peace in my neighborhood. So nobody, the people who are shooting are not looking at those Buddhist monks and say, oh, wow, they're marching for peace. Let me put down my guns. And no. So, I think though a lot of those things are symbolic gestures of things. And I see you, Shalawam's true. We need to focus on Ogon. Can't speak on people like Huey P when the spirit is alive. Yeah. And if you don't know, we did cover the Othal Wallace story, Othal Wallace. If you don't know who that is the young brother out. Matter of fact, now that is one video I will play because the brother is fighting for pretty much his natural life after having to take the life of a cop that was known for being a menace and a very unprofessional cop, being just out of place. This guy was not even he failed the test. Like it was just so much with this officer. We have a video of him slamming the head of a black woman. Matter of fact, I'll show that one after that. But this is the incident that you're going to see which our brothers Othal Wallace are still facing a long prison sentence because. Just watch this video real quick.
How's it going? Do you live here?
What's going on?
Do you live here?
Why are you asking what's going on?
Sit down. Sit.
Sir.
Can you sit down? I'll talk to you.
Okay,
Stop.
come on now.
Sit.
Come on now.
Sit.
Don't do this.
Sit down.
Why are you asking me, do I live here?
Do you live here? Yes or no?
What's going on, though?
Charlie 777.
No, back up.
Stop. Man.
Witnesses, Your Honor, make sure you speak loud and clear so that yours hear what you have to say. You may proceed. Good morning. Could you introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Othal Wallace, CGL,
And as the scripture says, all things that are here. All right, so that was some of the video they did for Othal Wallace. Now, you saw the police officer come up to him, and he was just sitting in his car. And you saw the police officer try to detain him. There was some kind of struggle. And the brother, in my opinion, defended himself. That officer was known to be out of his jurisdiction. He was also set to be suspended for some issues the next day. So that was a situation that, is unfortunate. But the brother and the brother, I think they gave him it was a trial. It was manslaughter. I think they gave him, and the sentence was only supposed to be about 10 years, but they added a gun enhancement to it, and so now he's serving presently a sentence of 30 years, and so we've been on the phone together. Several times. I spoke with, some people who are trying to help him. There was some discrepancies about, a couple of instances where, people whom supposed to be helping him has, kind of fallen out with them. And I won't get into all of that, but those things sometimes happen when you're dealing with situations like this. When you're fighting the system, sometimes, during the fight, you forget who you're really fighting against. And sometimes the people that you're fighting with, you start fighting with them, instead against who you're supposed to be fighting. But, as I look through these, these different shows, we shared a lot of instances, definitely police brutality, every day. There's probably a video that I can do every day of a story that you don't hear about, where a person is killed by the police, a young black man. There's so many stories about that. Some people tell me, hey, I had to take a break from watching your channel because it's so sad, which I understand. I have to take a break from doing those stories and try to do other stories as well. But I want people to really understand that people are losing their lives. A lot of family members sometimes call me, and they will call me and, tell me about their loved one who have just got shot by the police, which has no national coverage or whatever. Or, it may have been a couple of months ago, and people still haven't seen, the story. Yeah. So the cop died, and, the cop died, but, a video that I received from a brother who was working at the cop. When we're talking about the Othal Wallace incident, the cop died, but let me see. This is what surfaced after he died. Now, this is, matter of fact, I'm just going to show you. This is the officer right here. It's easy to change yourself in the system. That's right. So the officer's name was Jason Jason Rayner, right? And this is what came out of him.
Central traffic stop, 600 blocks off. How's it going?
All right, peace and blessings, all praises to the Most. Let me fast forward this real quick. Bear with me real quick. Trying to perform the same actions on him. And I must say, honestly, I have no remorse for him after watching this video. And after you see it, you'll understand what I feel. Check it out.
Hi. Do you have a driver's license with me, please?
Yes, I do.
I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
And
Can I see the registration and
your purpose of pulling me?
can I see the registration and insurance, please?
Yes,
Thank
you can. But can you tell me your purpose of pulling me? Because you was way over there in the turn lane. I made sure I stopped behind the line.
Okay.
Can you please tell me your purpose of pulling me?
Okay. Registration and insurance.
Can you tell me your purpose of
This is the
pulling me?
last time I'm going to ask for your registration and insurance. Thank you. Based on my angle, was a stop bar violation. If you want to argue that, you can.
I ain't finna argue with you.
Okay.
I ain't gonna argue with you.
I appreciate that. Can I see the registration?
It's right here. I'm giving it to you. Grab it. Don't act like I'm being disrespectful.
You are.
Okay.
Anything in the car I got to be worried about? Weapons, grenades, drugs, dead bodies?
No, I have my weed license.
Okay. Do you have that on you?
Yeah.
Can I see that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Is there any weed in the car?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Where would it be?
I have it on me.
Okay. Could I see it, please?
Sir, no. Listen, what you not finna do is do all this to me, cause I ain't do nothing wrong. You not finna do this, cause
Stay off the phone. You're gonna stay off the phone,
sir.
Ma'am, this is the last time I'm gonna tell you. Stay off the phone.
What I'm doing? You got your camera on?
I sure do.
Okay.
Medical marijuana card.
Okay.
Hang up the phone. Because I don't know who you're calling.
I'm calling my lawyer. You ain't finna tell me.
Get out. Get out. Get out now. Ma'am, I'm going to break the window if
How
you don't
you
get out.
doing this?
Get out.
Hold on.
Ma'am, I'm telling you, get out of the car.
Hold on.
Get out.
Sir, hey, can you record him? Because he been violating of me. I just pulled up. I'm finna get up. I'm finna get out. Because I ain't doing. Okay. Go ahead. I ain't did wrong. Acting with me. Come on. I ain't did so.
Yep, female 10-12.
Wait, sir. My personal.
I'll grab everything.
Come on.
Over here. You need to listen to me.
No. Because you violating me and you know that. You violating me, sir. He violating me. This is not right. He righteous. This is not right. No, don't do that, sir.
Relax.
Sir, don't.
Spread your feet.
No, you violating me.
Spread your feet.
You is violation. This is a violation.
Spread your feet.
Sir.
Spread your feet. Spread your feet.
You violating me. Violation, help me. You know you're doing wrong. You ain't gonna tell me I can't talk on my phone. Hell no. You ain't gonna tell me I can't talk.
Yep, female 10-12.
Wait, sir, my.
All right, so that every time I watch that video right there, you know, I get mad because he had no business doing that, and that's why, you know, I don't have any remorse for him. You know, you see how he was handling that lady. That's how he tried to handle that grown man. But you know, the grown man did what he needed to do. Yeah, he was like, hey, this is the last time. Get off your phone. I don't know who you're calling, ma'am. Spread your feet. Spread your feet. Spread your feet. You know, all that stuff, man. It was just, yeah, he got murdered. He got murdered less than about 5 months after that, if I'm not mistaken, maybe sooner, by the brother Othal. But, we've been, that's one thing I've been, focusing on is the inhumane treatment of cops, definitely towards black people. That was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, Daytona Beach, Florida. And he was, I think, the murder happened maybe 2023, maybe 2020. I'm not sure. I got to go back and look at everything. But the brother Othal is still in prison to this day for killing that self-same officer that, slammed the lady's head on the car. There was another incident where he is shown beating up a little kid. It was just, yeah. And yes, and I like that too. Please stop arguing with the cops. Stop talking to him, period. Because first thing she said, well, I got my weed license. She didn't have to tell him that, Then for the next thing you know, he want to see the weed and all of that. Best thing to do is shut up. When the police come around, don't tell them nothing. That's just like, the lady in out in Nashville a couple of years ago, got stopped by the police, and, he was looking for the wrong person. But then, he tells her to get out the car. Is anything in the car? She said, well, I got some weed. And that gives him all the right to search you and mishandle you. So, I never, just, you write me a ticket, go ahead and give me the ticket and I'm going, man. I don't know why you stopping me for and all that. We know why they stopping us for, because we're black people in America. And, we've always been the target. So, I don't have to ask why you talking. I had a situation the other week right here in the area where I live at in North Carolina. And so I went to an auction with my homeboy. He's a dealer friend. He's a dealer. He took me to a dealer auction, right? And so we was looking at cars, and I saw a car for a cheap price, and I bidded on it, and I bought it. And so I had driven my car out there. And so when it was time to take the car to my house, I drove my car home. And because I didn't have a dealer tag, I took the tag off of my car and had my homeboy to take me back to get the car I had just bought, because it didn't have a tag. So I said, I'm just going to put this tag on my car, on the car I just bought, till I get home to get it registered and everything. So, I can avoid just being stopped with just no tags. Like, I'm going in the place is like 30 to 40 minutes from where I stay. So my homeboy takes me back to the auction. I get out, put the tags on the car, whatever. And soon as I pull out the car auction, right, I look at my rearview mirror. It's about, it's one of those white Jeeps with the dark tinted windows and the little light right there on that. So I knew it was the police, right? I knew it was the police. He's a ways back, and so I'm just driving. I know he's behind me, so I'm following all the rules. It's a little side street we on before I get to the main highway. And so I stop, I stop at the stoplight, I turn left, and then I turn onto the highway. Now, mind you, he'd been following me for like 3 miles. I turn onto the highway. As soon as I turn on the highway, I see him speeding up off the ramp too, and he instantly hit the lights. So he hits the lights, right? He comes up to the car. Yeah, the reason the little white guy, Bacon Houghton, or whatever his name was, right? The reason I'm stopping you because these tags don't match this car, and such and such and such. And so I explained the situation, And he goes back to his car, writes the ticket. Did I even ask him the main question that I should have asked him? Why are you running my tags? Why did you run my tags? Why did you run my tags? You had no business to run my tags. I was not doing anything wrong. I didn't do a stop and roll. Why did you run my tags? I didn't know. I just said, okay, just give me the ticket. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get it straight. Whatever. But that is what we deal with all the time. Just like the lady once again in Nashville, when they ran the tags and they said, well, this car is registered to somebody we're looking for. First thing, why are you running your tags? And that's what people don't understand. A white guy tried to tell me the other day, well, black people commit more crimes than white people. I said, no, that's not it. Black people are targeted for more crimes. White people and black people commit the same crimes at the same rate. White people and black people use D-rugs at the same rate at the same time. But if you are stopping, let's say 5 out of 10 black people use D-rugs. 5 out of 10 white people use D-rugs, right? But if you're stopping 8 of those 10 black people, then what? You are guaranteed to get 3 people with D-rugs. You might get 5, right? But if you're only stopping 1 of those white people, you have less than a 20% chance of catching a white person with D-rugs. So that is what I'm saying. So they don't run white people's tags. I hear you, Charles Collins, say they run tags all the time, but they don't run white people's tags all the time. And so that's why I counter, people like so when I used to sell D-rugs in Virginia Beach, most of my clients were rich white people. That's what some of my clients got me into like real estate. They were real estate brokers, funeral home owners, lawyers, bondsmen. They were just, I would meet them, private detectives, police officers. And so when I would go into their neighborhoods, I didn't have to worry about the police sitting on every corner. Why? Because their neighborhoods are not policed. Even though they were using and buying and getting drunk and driving drunk just like everybody else, there was not a police officer on every corner in the neighborhood. But when I used to go to the hood and, and shoot dice with the brothers or go serve some of my other cousins that stayed in the projects, I had to worry about ducking and dodging the police every block. Why? Because all the police were concentrated in the black neighborhoods. And so that's how they tried to skew these numbers and skew these stats. Well, no, black people are arrested more. Why is only 13% black people, but they're 50% of the prison problem? Because the police target black people. So this is just who we are. In the system of America, we're going to be targeted whether we are doing anything wrong or not. And so, that's something that we have to come to grips with. But also, and I used to hate when people will bring this up when we were talking about like police brutality and police violence and against black communities. But I can't ignore it any longer because, like I said, we have 15 and 16-year-old running around my little small town of Goldsboro, North Carolina, shooting little 13-year-old girls, shooting up, places and stuff. And so we cannot discount the problem, that we face in our own community as far as, that's something that we just got to ignore. Don't worry about it. No, we got to worry about that because we have this code of violence that is, celebrated championed or whatever. And then the code of silence where somebody does something and everybody is quiet. Fortunately this time the police caught these young men and that shot 13-year-old Jania Toon right here in Goldsboro. Like I said, we are having her funeral this Saturday. And shout out to everybody who donated to the GoFundMe to that family. I shared the GoFundMe on the YouTube video I did about it. So if you are one of the ones who saw the video and donated to that cause, I greatly appreciate you. But this is something that we gotta police our own communities as well, because as we've seen numerous times, when we call the police into our communities, it doesn't end well for us. Or maybe that family member who's just having a bad day, he's drunk or whatever, he's having a mental episode, you call the police and next thing you know, your family's dead, your family member's dead. And so thank you, Bonnie Line. I appreciate you. And shout out to everybody in the chat as well. But, we have to, as men and women, learn to police our own communities. Okay, we see young brothers out there walking with guns and everybody's scared. We need a group of men to come out there and be like, listen, man, y'all take that elsewhere. We got women and kids out here. Y'all are scaring them. So put those guns up, and let them know, okay, well, we won't tolerate this in our community because, the police are not coming to better our community. By no means. They're coming to take you to jail. And let me show you how much they care. So after the young girl was shot, 13 years old, people in the community got together, and I think it was last night, New Year's Eve, they have like a memorial service for bringing in the year with Lily, bringing in the new year with Lily. Like she was just killed, a couple of days before Christmas. And so the young brother, I saw the young brother downtown. He was like, hey, man, we're doing something for Lily tomorrow. We're trying to get the police to come, but they act like they don't want to come, right? So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go down there and talk to him, see what I can do, right? So I went down there and talked to the guy. And, I knew him. I actually, did some videos on him. He used to always stop me every time he see me when I was a young kid here, every time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so when I talk about police racism and targeting, I'm not talking about, just watching it on TV. I'm talking about surviving it. This officer, I won't mention his name now, but, he would always, like, every time he see me, he would turn his police car around, get behind me and pull me. Why? Because he could, even when I moved to Virginia and I would come back. I remember one time I came back driving a real estate car. I had my real estate signs on my car. I was, and I went to meet my dad. My dad was a mail carrier, and he stayed. He delivered mail in a black neighborhood. It was a black project called The Jungle. So I knew my dad was out there, and I said, well, let me go check on him, surprise him real quick. So I go out there, I see my dad hard working, putting the mail in the mailbox. I talked to him for a minute. Then I'm leaving out the one way in, one way out project. And the first person I see is the officer who tried to ruin my life. Like, he gave me the first felony, my first ever felony for hit and run, which was just a misdemeanor. But I pled guilty to it because that's what the court-appointed lawyer told me to do. And, we didn't know any better. I was 19. So I saw him and I looked at him. He looked at me. Soon as he saw me, now mind you, this is 10 years later. He looked at me and he going in the projects, the one way. So he was going there for a reason. Soon as he saw me, he turned around, got behind me and pulled me down the street. Got me out of the car, put me in handcuffs when I'm a licensed realtor in another state, licensed and all. But he was so used to pulling me and treat me any kind of way. And my dad was driving down the street in this mail truck and he seen him like, why you got my son like that? Why? Because he could. He didn't give me a ticket or nothing. But so this is what I'm saying, about these situations. This is nothing. This is why I'm so passionate about it, because this is what I've lived. Nevertheless, I went and talked to that same officer. Now, he see me now. I already let him know, to his face how I feel about him. But, I don't survive that. I beat you, basically. So I go up there. They send him out to me. I'm like, yeah, man, They talking about they want to have a memorial service for the young lady, but the tensions are still high. So the brother was like, well, he was trying to get police to come, and he couldn't get anybody. Well, I was like, well, I think it's a good idea to have police out there because there's still some, retaliation or whatever. Talk about it. So if you're talking about having people out there, people bringing the community together, why wouldn't you, have some police in the, at that area, to make sure that it stays peaceful, right? Well, yeah, but is the apartment complex? Did they say that they could do it, or because if it's not a city event and all of that, da 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 da. Listen, if you're a police officer, you understand. None of that matters. Yeah, we'll have a police officer there just to make sure everybody's safe, right? But from what I understand, I think they did finally agree to send a police officer out there. But I said that to say that these people really don't care about our community. So calling the police into a community in which they have no vested interest. Those police have no vested interest in the Black community because they don't live there. When I was coming up, a lot of the police officers lived around the corner from me or lived there. A lot of these police officers are transplants. I mean, they get out of the service, they get out of the military, they come, they go here and they find a job and they be police. And they have no connection to the community. And a lot of these police officers live in the next county over, or you know what I mean? So they have no connection to the people whom they are coming to police. And let me show you an example of that real quick, because this happened earlier this year as well. Let me see if I can pull it up. And it was let me see. Okay. Here you go, right here. So this is what the police did to the young man. And I'm going to share this real quick. Should we certify our own police? Basically. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But this is one of the incidents that happened right here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Let me see.
Hey, you almost did? He tell her to leave. That's her son. He tell me I don't care, back up.
And I'm going to stop it right there. All right, let me go. Because I keep interrupting myself. Okay. Let me go. Speed it up again. So this is what.
But they ain't doing that, Moses. This nigga had a knife in his pocket with the.
Why y'all harassing me? Why y'all harassing me? Get this car. Why y'all harassing me?
They cannot handle that, man. They can't handle it. They slamming this man up against the car, pulling his hair, smacking him in his face. I ain't want to put you in the camera.
You see how they did that shit?
Man, they smacked his head into the window, and he smacked him in the face and snatched him out there.
What are you doing? It's in my left pocket.
Shit, dude, them three can't handle him. She see what he was doing with them. Y'all need to get out of the parking lot, but they run one of y'all kids over. God, it's not that serious.
They over there laughing.
Y'all about to run the kids over. Almost did.
He tell her to leave. That's her son.
He tell me I don't care, back up.
Oh! Why the fuck do that? They wrong for that.
Oh my
That boy is
God.
knocked out. He is knocked out. Oh, he is knocked out.
All right, so that happened right there in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and actually the same project that I was just talking about that my daddy used to deliver the mail at. And so you can see there are 7 police officers, all of them white. And best believe that's probably a 99% black neighborhood. And even before that, as the young lady was saying, they were slamming his head in the car and doing all sorts of stuff to him. So, once again, and I went down to the city council and talked and fussed and, brought people down there, and those people still the only disciplinary actions they gave those officers is how they talked to the crowd. They didn't see anything wrong with them. And you see the young brother was standing there and they tried to leg sweep him and he stumbled. And when he stumbled, the other cowardly police officer went and body slammed him and, broke his shoulder, gave him some other injuries. And, actually that brother, does have mental health issues as well. So, yeah, definitely the slave patrols, man. And, so for this upcoming year, I think we have to be cognizant of what has happened this past year, and what we must do, to avoid these type of situations. Like I said, when the police officers pull me over, I have no words for it. Yeah, give me my ticket, man. You got the badge and the gun. They got the badge and the gun, so you can't win an argument with them. So I don't understand how people, you don't got no right to stop me. Of course, we know that. I like everything that I can argue and tell them about, they already know. But you know what? What else? They got the gun and the badge and the police lights and the gang behind them. So if I get out of order, if I say anything, they can call the rest of their gang. And then, the rest will be history. So, shout out to, those parties like the Black Panthers, the new Black Panthers, the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, the Fred Hampton Gun Club, the Louisiana Storm, the NFAC. There's a lot of, black gun. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of black gun clubs that, ride for the people. But I just wanted to come on and just review a couple of things. But I'll be here all night. I don't want to be here all night, but I just did want to do this live, man. Just thank you once again to people for watching this channel, and just helping this information to get out there. And I want you guys to continue to communicate through the channel, through these lives. Through the text. My number is always, out there. You see it on the bottom of the screen. This is the real cell phone. I answer my own phones. So, and if you do send a text or a call, or, I can't, of course, answer them all or respond to them all. But when you send videos and information and stories, best believe I see them if I do not respond to them. Just know that, all of these things are very, very, very much appreciated. So I just want to just come on and just shout y'all out, man, for the last year, and hopefully we'll do a do more lives in the future about current events. But I just wanted to come real quick and just thank the people for supporting this channel throughout the year, and also supporting each other. So y'all see the number 919-587-7782. I thank y'all for joining this live tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, but I really appreciate y'all. And as always, I pray you have peace and blessings.